This video will discuss the upcoming essay that's due next week. I'll be reviewing the topics and talking to you about some of the other details that you need to know. Currently, this is a home page, and of course, to get to the essay, click on the modules. And bear with just a moment. I'm going to collapse all these. And so you'll scroll down to the module that says Major Essay. Here you'll see some examples of a works cited page, which you'll need to follow because, of course, you're going to be using sources. The idea about how to format your essay according to MLA format standards. This is the online writing lab at Purdue where it goes over those details. I also have the 8th edition. It's actually moved to the 9th edition now, but there's really not a significant difference. There's a video that shows you how to format your essay. I have an example of an essay and very quickly looking at it. Bear with it just a moment as it tries to load. Takes a little while sometimes to do that. But there's the essay, and again, this is one that's from 3 years ago. It's now one of your topics, sorry. But you can see the format. The heading that's offered here, which really should have been over here more. They tabbed over and didn't need to. You will see the title does not have to be in bold. The structure of the essay, here's the first paragraph, of course, introduction, so it's tabbed over as it should be. You'll see the details that are offered there. And then you'll see the second paragraph, also tabbed over, with the citation for the textbook offered here. Parentheses, Cunningham et al., because there's two other authors. You don't have to write both the other two names, just put Cunningham and others et al. And then the page number, close your parentheses, put your period after the citation. So anytime you use information from the source, I'm trying to get this stuff moved, and it didn't want to move. You'll see how it's being used, and again, sources here. This is one from source called Pace, then you'll see another one from DeNova. Now, those are not direct quotes. They're not in quotation marks, but they are pieces of information taken from these sources, so they have to be cited. Anytime you use information from a source, you must cite it. So it goes on. Again, you'll see from Pace, here's a direct quote. This next part from DeNova. So you'll see that's in quotation marks. This is the code there that's offered, and it's blocked. And that actually should have been over also. Should have been, the Cunningham should have been up, well, should have been tabbed over also. But it was not. But you'll see how this is set up. And then it goes on, and you'll see the details, the length of the assignment, how it should be. And again, the works cited, there they are. Again, that does not have to be in bold. Cunningham et al., Culture and Values, that actually should have been italicized. There should have been a period here. Then DeNova, again, that should have been in quotation marks. That's the title of the article. And then Pace, again, that should have been in quotation marks, the title of the article. But you'll notice it's C, D, and then P because sources are to be alphabetized. So that gives you an example of how one should look, the length of it, the MLA formatting of it, and other details. It's not a perfect essay. It's a good essay. It passed. It did what it needed to do. Now for the topics, you're using chapters 13 through 17 as your topics. I'm going to go ahead and download the one rather than trying to rely on this one. I'm going to download it and just open it here. It'll be a little easier to do it and go through it. Give it a moment as it's trying to load. Here it comes. Again, you are to take one of the topics. There are several that are listed. As it says here, answer one of the topics with detailed support from the textbook and other outside sources. It's to be approximately 1,000 words. You may write more. Please make sure that you do provide the proper detail, the amount of discussion that's needed. And you will see here, again, select one of the topics, 1,000 words. I also teach English, so I do expect correct grammar, proper mechanics, sound writing, well-developed thoughts, well-supported ideas. Proofread to avoid any of the errors in punctuation, mechanics, and grammar. The length as suggested, 1,000 words. That means you can do an adequate job commenting on whatever topic you choose. You may need more. It needs to be following MLA standards, hence why I showed you the example essay. It was double-spaced, paragraphs are tabbed over. And folks, I don't know where some of you get this, but maybe not you, but I've had some students who submitted essays, they don't double-space it. Well, that's wrong. They don't tab over for every paragraph. They do a sort of a block format, like a block letter. That's wrong. They put extra spaces between paragraphs. That's wrong. MLA format means that you will have a double-spaced essay. You tab over once for every paragraph, and you do not include extra spacing between paragraphs. Please keep all that in mind. The first topic asks you to look at the Baroque world and look at some of the key aspects such as music, art, architecture, and literature. Use specific examples to support your comments about what the Baroque world was like, what it really tried to present to us. And again, I give you 5 different key points to think about. You do not have to discuss all 5 of those, nor do you have to discuss music, art, architecture, and literature, but you can look at key examples of each one and discuss those. From a perspective, this is perhaps the easiest one to do, because if you write a couple of hundred words over music, art, architecture, and literature, and you discuss light and symbolism in art, you discuss emotion in music, you discuss the idea about space in architecture, and you talk about symbolism and emotion in the literature, then you're going to have your whole essay taken care of, because that will give it to you and gives you a sense of organization too. But again, you don't have to discuss all these points. It says one or more. You don't have to discuss all 4 of those. But I think it will be beneficial for you. The next one asks you to do a comparison and contrast of the Venetian painting style and the Roman painting style that's occurring during what's called the High Renaissance. Venice was, as your book mentions, a very strong supporter of the arts during this era, and they really pushed a certain style. They really had individuals who worked with a certain style. And so again, you can discuss the idea about line and color and space within key paintings. And if you two discuss 3 or 4 different paintings, 2 or 3 from Venice and 2 or 3 from Rome, and do a contrasting of that aspect. Again, it's fairly easy to do that. If you have 2 from Venice and 2 from Rome, for instance, then you're looking at writing, again, a couple of 100, 300 words over each painting, and shouldn't take you that much to do those if you're going to do an adequate job discussing those paintings. The third topic asks you to look at, again, the Venice school, as I said, a very strong supporter of the arts during this era, and to look at the composers, such as Gabrieli, and what they were seeking to do. Are they really Renaissance? Are they not? You get to argue that they are or that they're not, whichever way you view. And again, looking at key examples, discussing key examples by each of the composers you look at. So Gilberti and 3 or 4 others, or 2 or 3 others would probably be sufficient. For number 4, folks, here is on the scientific dealings in this era that is covered in your book. And asks you to take 2 of these figures, not all 4, just 2. Copernicus, Napier, Gilbert, and Harvey. So if you want to do Gilbert and Harvey, if you want to do Copernicus and Harvey, that's fine. But you're going to look at how these scientists, what they did, how they impacted their era, and how their discoveries, innovations, whichever word you want to go with, really have helped to continue to impact what we know is science in other areas. As it says here, how they're regarded in their own era and now. What is they've helped us understand. Number 5 asks you to look at Michelangelo. He sort of goes from one era to another to another. He is part of the Italian Renaissance, so is Raphael, but Michelangelo sort of goes from the Medici in Florence to being a figure in Rome. And I asked you to look at examples of his sculpture where he has major periods. So if his early period, his middle period, his later period. And his sculpture is in a number of different ways. You have his Michelangelo. You have his Pieta. You have his Moses. You have his sculpture for the Medici, the Lorenzen tomb, the Laurentian library, what he did there. And so I asked you to look at those and how it reflects each of his periods and how it also indicates where art is going because of what he's doing. And again, discussing 3 of the different or so of the works will give you an organization, 300 or 400 words for each work to really talk about those and move through there with specific details. And again, you can look up some of the comments as well, and that will help you with that one. The 6th topic, went too far, excuse me. I asked you to look at the character of Hamlet. If you're familiar with the play, that helps a great deal, but we have some discussion of it in our textbook, but you might want to look at the play. Castiglione had described what the courtier was supposed to be, and you have details about that in your textbook. But Hamlet, subtitled The Prince, the play also offers us an understanding of the Machiavellian prince, slightly earlier era. But I asked you to look at those details. Hamlet, the character, as the courtier and as a Machiavellian figure. And so you get to do a comparison of the one character of Hamlet from the play of the same name and how he represents those key qualities that Castiglione said every courtier should have. But how he also embodies what the prince, as Machiavelli described, is supposed to be. So you have that one to look at as well. So these are your topics. Making sure I didn't put another one down here. No, I didn't think so. So you have a choice of 1 through 6. So Hamlet, if you're familiar with the play, that'll help you. Again, doing a discussion of Hamlet as courtier and Hamlet as Machiavellian figure. So that gives you a sort of a breakdown there of 500 or 600 words of Hamlet, the figure as courtier, Hamlet as Machiavellian. Michelangelo's work, asking you to look at key sculptures by him and what they offer and how they are developed to show what style he's developing at that time. Then the 4th one asks you to choose 2 of these scientific figures and their impact, what they did, what impact they had during their time, and what impact they still have. Number 3 asks you to look at the music school in Venice, Gabrielli, the composer. You can look at other ones as well, and whether they actually fit what would be considered Renaissance or are they something else. Again, using specific examples from their music. The 2nd one asks you to look at painting styles in Venice and painting style in Rome during what's called the High Renaissance time, and comparing specific works. Discuss 2 or 3 works from the Venice school, 2 or 3 works from the Roman school, and what they're doing, how the artists are trying to convey themes and concepts, especially during the use of lines and colors and space, the interpretation of subjects, and how the Venice school differs from the Roman school. And then the first one asks you to look at the characteristics of the Baroque world, looking at key examples in music, art, architecture, literature, and discussing how they relate to one or more of these key points that help to typify the Baroque period. So you're asked to look at this, and again, you're going to look at these key points, developing an essay of 1,000 words or so over one topic. And again, notice it's just one, so don't try to write about all 6 of these, just choose one. Keep a sharp, focused approach to the topic. Make sure that you're developing it with solid detail and examples and explanations. Offer support through research and go through the textbook as well to find information. And remember when you do that you must cite those sources and pay attention to those and make sure you're double spacing, using proper citations, using proper format according to MLA. And again, As it says here, the response should be at least 1,000 words, following MLA format. And please note this one: short responses, those that do not follow MLA format, will not be graded. I say don't use Pages, PDF, or Google Docs. You can use a PDF. You can actually use Google Docs, but what can happen sometimes as you go from a Google Docs and upload it into Turnitin, the format will sometimes be altered. And so it doesn't always maintain the proper format. I'm not sure why it does that. It just does. Pages, which is the Apple Word document format, and Canvas and Turnitin do not get along. They really do not. If you try to use Pages, if you have an Apple product and you're typing it in Pages and you try to upload it, it's not going to look properly. It really will. The format will change all over. And so what you need to do is save. If you have an Apple product, save it as an RTF or as a doc, and then upload it from there. And so that will work to your benefit. And so again, when you're trying to upload it, and I'm going to show you what you do. Here's the handout, so you scroll down below the handout. I have to refresh this, hold on. So when you scroll down past the handout, you will see this bar, and you have to click on this bar, and when you do so, it's going to open up Turnitin.com. Now mine is the teacher version, so it's going to look a little different from yours once it opens. It's taking a little while. Probably shouldn't take this long, but it is. There we go. Give it a moment. Yours will have this figure, and it will have a button saying Submit Assignment. And when you click on that, it's going to then take you to a page where it asks you to browse your computer, where you can then find your file that you've saved. You'll click and upload that, and then you'll click a Submit, and it will upload it into Turnitin. Again, I have for you explanations of that and a video from the University of Kentucky where a professor walks you through how to do that. That particular one is under the Start Here module. Again, submitting a paper to turn in is Canvas has some explanations. It doesn't work quite as well. This video does. And once your essay has been submitted and is marked, this tells you how to locate the feedback, the markings that will be placed on your essay. So again, what you want to do is make sure that you go to the proper module, which is the essay module. You can review all these other details here. Click on this assignment. You can read the handout. You can also download, as I did earlier, where I downloaded as a Word document. And then after you've typed your essay, save it to your computer. Come to this gray bar here right below the handout. Click on that. Hopefully it won't take quite as long this time. There you go. And again, you'll have this figure, and it'll have a Submit Assignment button. And so you'll have that to do. So again, this is where you'll find it. This is the assignment. And now, of course, I will get it graded as quickly as I possibly can. So hopefully this video will help. I'll get it posted here in just a moment. And then I will notify you that it has been posted. I'll be posting it. It says Summer 1. I just haven't changed that one. But it will be for Wintermester. So, all right. I hope this has helped. And I hope that you have enough time to get this taken care of. I'm looking forward to reading your essays.